Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me today on your mat. My name is Jen and I'm excited to share some of my practice with you. Throughout our time together here, I encourage you to modify and to change any postures that don't work for you. If we are standing and you need to kneel, or if we are lying on our backs and you need to be in a child's pose, you need to do what's best for you and your body. I'm simply here to offer you some different ways to move your body, but it's your practice, so please do what you need to do to keep your body safe and to keep your breath calm and consistent. Really take this time to read your body and to give it exactly what it needs. So we will start today's practice standing at the top of our mat. I often refer to the front of the mat as the top of the mat. So if you're not there already, go ahead and get yourself comfortable. And sorry if my camera is not showing you my head. I haven't quite found a great spot to do my recordings. And once you get to the front of your mat, just take a minute to adjust your feet and to get them exactly where you want them to be. For some, you might want your feet wider than your hips. Maybe you like your legs touching. Maybe you like your feet directly under your hips. Find a position that works for you. Wiggle out the toes and separate the toes if you can. Spreading them wide in the mat and pressing that big toe into the mat to stabilize the lower body. See if you're really tightening the glutes, the hips, the hamstrings, and see if you can let some of that dissipate. Find a comfortable position with the hands, whether the palms are forward or back or kind of just pointing inward towards the body. It completely depends upon your body structure. I'm not here to tell you a posture needs to look one way or another. It's all about how it feels within inside yourself. Allow the shoulders to fall away from the ears. Perhaps the chin starts to tuck slightly. And just pausing here in this standing posture, in this mountain pose. Finding that stillness and that strength within us. Feeling powerful and strong as the chest feels proud and lifted towards the sky. Feel the feet on the mat. What points of the feet do you notice connected to the ground beneath you? Bringing your attention up through the legs, and maybe as you do so, you start to slightly bend through the knees, softening the knee joints, the hamstrings, the glutes. Soften slightly. Just enough tension to support the body, but no more. Feel the belly. And perhaps here you place the hands on the belly. Does your belly move with your breath? For some, it might not. For others, it may dramatically. Moving your attention up into the solar plexus or into the chest. Feeling the slight movement of the ribs as the abdomen expands, the ribs separate ever so slightly. And with the exhalation, the ribs fall back into place. Moving your attention up into the shoulders. Noticing if your shoulders feel tense, if your shoulders feel like they could move away from the ears. Do your shoulders move up and down slightly with your breath? Feeling through the neck, and out through the arms. The arms hang by the sides, or perhaps are still located on the core of the body. Any sort of coolness or warmth or tingling or energetic feeling in the hands or fingers. And lastly, moving the attention to the face and the crown of the head. Allowing the jaw to loosen, and maybe you open the jaw and, I don't know, wiggle it around a little bit. Feel free here too to give your face a little massage using the thumbs to massage around the jaw, the forehead, the nose and eyes. Letting those muscles soften and relax. With your next inhalation, with our inhalations, the belly expands and we can find length in the body. So as we inhale, we can lift the arms up towards the sky, and I invite you here to keep the eyes closed or open them softly, lifting the face up towards the sun. And today it is a sunny day here, and just imagining that light hitting my face. Shoulders are pulled away from the ears. Reaching up as the shoulders pull down. Here we can interlace the fingers above the head. I personally like to extend the index finger and the thumbs, but you can simply interlace and make a fist. And on an exhale, we'll start to press. Sorry, I'm going to itch on my foot here. I have to get. We'll start to press the left hip towards the left side as the body leans towards the right. Notice here where the chest is pointed. Is the chest pointed down? If it is, press that left shoulder towards the back of the room, allowing the airway to stay open and the chest to remain lifted up towards the sun. On your next inhale, coming back to center with the arms extended directly overhead. And exhale to press the right hip towards the right side, creating the C shape towards the left, feeling a stretch in the right side of the body as the left side of the body compresses. The chest is pressing up towards the sky as that right shoulder presses back. And on an inhale, bringing yourself back to center. If a back bend is in your practice, inhaling to reach up towards the sky. And exhaling to press the front of the body forward as you start to bend backwards, keeping the head in line with the arms. And inhaling to bring yourself back to center, pulling the palms together through heart center, bringing the hands in front of the chest. Pausing here for a moment. Nice. Setting here perhaps an intention. What brought you to your mat today? Something physical or mental bring you here. Using that to push you through your practice today, to help you focus here in this moment. If a posture becomes challenging or you're simply mind starts to wander, you can use that intention or perhaps a mantra to focus on, to keep your mind calmer and quieter. Nice. And exhaling to lower the hands. Inhaling to lift the arms up one more time. And starting to lean forward, keeping the spine straight, not rounding through the spine here. Keeping the spine straight as the arms perhaps reach out. I like to press my hands together in front of my chest, letting my chest and my chin lead this forward fold. Dropping the hands or grasping elbows. Once you find yourself in this forward fold, allow the knees to be soft. You don't want to hyperextend and lock out the knees. Here, I also like to put my hands on the backs of my calves. It just helps me to keep my chest open and my airways open. Just allowing yourself to hang here. This can be an energizing posture. Feeling that stretch in the back of those legs. Perhaps a stretch in that low spine, and just be cautious here with forward bending if your spine has some sensitivities. Often forward bending, I've found, can aggravate my low spine. So just be cautious. We can start to frame the right foot, meaning one hand goes on either side. We'll start to step the left toes towards the back of the mat, taking this lunge type of posture. We'll set the left foot down so that the toes are pointed towards the left side. The right toes are pointed towards the front of the mat. That right leg is bent here. You can tent the fingertips, meaning rounding through the fingers and placing the tips of the fingers onto the mat. Or creating fists, or using blocks if you have yoga blocks on either side of the foot. You can also use books at home too. Anything to help support yourself here in this type of posture. We'll start to lift from the torso here, pressing through the feet, placing the forearm of the right arm on top of the right leg. If this feels okay for you, starting to lift the left arm up towards the sky. Making sure that in this posture, sorry, I should have mentioned this before, that right knee should be over the right ankle, not in front of the toes. So if you find that your knee is not behind your toes, just start to scoot the right foot forward a little bit more, and you'll find more of a bend in that right leg. And then we'll meet here with the left arm extended up towards the sky. And if it feels okay for your neck, you can look up towards those fingers and feel strong and powerful here in this posture. If this feels okay for you, perhaps even extending the right fingertips down towards the right foot. Feeling that compression in the right hip. Feeling a stretch along that back leg. And on an exhale, we'll lower the left hand down. Framing that front foot. Turning the left toes to point towards the front of the room. My hair is all over. That left heel is lifted off of the mat. Making sure not to hyperextend that left knee. And on your next inhalation, lifting the torso off of that front leg, reaching the arms up towards the sky. Perhaps here, sending yourself some words of encouragement. I am strong. I am powerful. I am enough. On an exhale, lowering the hands down to frame that front foot. Placing the hands onto the mat, fingers spread wide, stepping that right foot back to meet the left, finding your downward facing dog. Maybe taking a few breaths in through the nose and out the mouth as we pedal out the feet. Pressing and lowering one heel as the other one lifts. And when you're ready to find stillness, we'll take 5 more breaths here in this down dog. Breathing fully. And on your next inhalation, lifting that left leg up towards the sky in this 3-legged dog. Exhaling to bend through that left knee, placing that foot in between the hands. I'm just going to switch sides here so you can see me. You can stay right where you are. If I turn the other way, I'll be facing away from you. So here we are with our left leg bent, that left ankle underneath the left knee, framing that foot. So we turn the right toes towards the right side of our mat. Inhaling to lift up and placing that left forearm onto that left thigh. You can stay here and lift that arm up towards the sky, finding a comfortable gaze. Again, reminding yourself of your strength. Feeling free to lower that left arm down towards the ground if this posture is in your practice. Taking another breath or two here. And exhaling to lower the hands. Framing that front foot. You might want to walk the back toes in a little tiny bit. Coming into this crescent lunge. As we start to inhale the torso off of that left leg. Arms reaching up to find the length. Feeling this stretch along that back thigh. Feeling that activation of that front quad. Inhaling and exhaling here. I am courageous. I am brave. I am complete. And exhaling to frame that front foot. We'll start to bring that right foot to meet the left. Pausing here in your forward fold. Breathing in and breathing out. We'll come back to frame that right foot whenever you feel ready. Sending that left foot back once again. Turning the left toes towards the left side. Again, I'm going to switch sides here of my mat, but you stay right where you are. Ooh, I'm going to turn my heater off here, building some heat. Bending through that right knee. The The left toes can begin to rotate, pointing towards that left side. This time we'll inhale the torso, lifting up as the right arm reaches forward. The left arm reaches back, finding our warrior two. Looking out at those right fingertips. Feeling like the warrior we are. All of us fighting our own battles. On an exhale, start to lower the left hand to meet the left leg. Reaching that right arm up towards the sky. Reversing that warrior. Keeping a bend in that front knee. I am brave. I am powerful. I am courageous. Inhaling, coming back into that warrior two. And exhaling to frame that foot. Placing the hands on the mat, and stepping the right foot back to meet the left, back into our downward facing dog. Releasing the breath here. Feeling the stretch all the way from the fingertips to the toes. As we inhale, lifting that left foot back up towards the sky. Exhaling to step the left foot in between the hands. One more time, I'm switching sides. You stay where you are. The left foot is bent. That left ankle is underneath the left knee. Rotating out through the back leg, pointing towards that right side. Once you feel stable here, once you find that your knee is over your ankle, you can start to lift off of that front thigh, extending the arms out long in front of you and behind you, finding the power of your warrior two. Sending yourself some words of encouragement here. What can you tell yourself that maybe you haven't said to yourself lately? Saying that in your head or out loud. And when you're ready, start to flip the palms up towards the sky, reaching the right arm back to rest on that right leg. Lifting the left arm up towards the sky, allowing the sun to reach the face and the chest. Reverse warrior. Inhaling back into your warrior two. Exhaling to frame that front foot as we cartwheel the hands down, placing the palms onto the mat. Stepping the left foot back to meet the right. Finding our plank posture. This is one that I like to avoid, but it's important to activate through the abdominals. Feeling the entire front body working here. Exhaling to send the knees down to the mat. Allow the big toes to touch here. Hopefully you can see me. Find a comfortable position with the knees, whether they're together touching or out wide. We'll begin to send the hips back. Keep that torso lifted for a moment here. Find that length in the torso from the fingertips all the way to the hips. Once you find that length and your shoulders are not pulled into your ears, you can start to lower the torso down to meet the mat. Taking a few of those cleansing breaths here in this child's pose. Releasing out through the mouth. Allowing the breath to be audible. Allowing the exhale to be complete. Coming back to the natural cadence of your breath when you feel ready to do so. Feeling the abdomen press into the thighs, perhaps, as you inhale, and allow the belly to expand. Feel the abdomen begin to shrink with every exhale. Here in your child's pose, you can feel free to roll the forehead side to side on the mat, massaging the forehead. You might even decide to start to rotate the head so that you're on the crown of the head as your knees are still bent. Rotating the head around to give the scalp a bit of a massage here with the assistance of the ground. Move in a way that feels good for your body. When you're ready, we'll start to find our way to our tabletop position. In tabletop, our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Our fingers are spread wide on the mat. Our knees are underneath our hips. Tops of the feet can rest on the mat here. Feeling this length all the way from the crown of the head through the tailbone. Imagine that energy shooting from each end of the body. Once you find this neutral spine where the spine isn't bending one way or another, it's just neutral. We'll start to move through some cat-cows here with a conscious mind, following our breath. On your next inhalation, dropping the belly towards the mat. And exhaling into your cat posture as the spine rounds upward. The palms press into the mat, the tops of the feet press into the mat. Inhaling into your cow posture as the belly falls towards the mat, the chest lifts up towards the sky, and the face finds the warmth of the sun. And exhaling into your cat, almost like a cat that's hissing. Moving through these two postures with your inhalation and your exhalation. Coming back to that neutral spine when you're ready. That tabletop position where the shoulders are over the wrists, the knees are underneath the hips. On an inhale, start to lift that left foot back behind us, the sole of that foot pressing backwards, keeping an even distribution of weight throughout the hands. And then your next inhale, if you feel okay here, you can start to lift that left hand out towards the front of the mat. The fingertips of the left hand reaching forward, and the sole of the right foot pressing back. Balancing here and trying to keep the spine from bending in one direction or another here. Keeping that neutral spine for another breath or two. And on an exhale, lowering the hand, lowering the knee, sending the glutes back into your child's pose. Inhaling. And exhaling out the mouth if that feels okay. Taking that sunbird on the other side as we come back into our tabletop here, and take your time to adjust your body and to find your tabletop. It's never a rush. Moving in your own time. It's something we don't often get to do. So really allow yourself to do that here in your practice. On an inhale, starting to lift the left foot off of the mat, extending that leg so the sole of the foot is pressing towards the back of the room. Notice here, if you've dumped all your weight into your right hand, try to keep that balance. Keeping the spine long, straight. If you feel ready, like you'd like a little more of a challenge, extending that right hand out in front of you. Find a spot on the floor, a couple inches in front of you to stare at. Keeping that length. It's okay if you fall out of it, you can come right back. And exhaling to lower the hand, lower the knee. Send the hips back one more time into your child's pose. In child's pose, you can also stack the hands one on top of the other, placing those hands underneath the forehead. You can stack fists if it doesn't feel okay for you to lower the forehead down to the mat. Breathing here. Allow that breath to settle, to be calm and consistent. When you're ready, we'll start to lower onto our backs. Getting yourself there however you'd like. Sometimes it's fun to sit on the glutes and bend through the knees, pressing the feet into the mat and using those abs the best you can to lower onto the mat. My abdominal muscles are definitely something I need to work on. Here on our mat, the soles of our feet are pressing into the mat. The knees are in line with the hips. The hands can be on the mat here. Palms pressing down. Start to use our breath to move us into a bridge. Inhaling and really pressing the small of the back into the ground. And as you do that, you'll notice that the tailbone starts to lift off of the mat, so you can feel your entire back supported. If you were to take your hands and try to tuck them underneath your low back here, you wouldn't be able to do so. Exhaling here. And on an inhale, starting to lift the glutes off of the mat. Feeling the back slowly start to lift. Pressing the hips up. Maybe with every exhale, feeling the muscles start to relax, and your inhale brings the hips a little bit higher. And on an exhale, lowering the spine slowly from the top all the way down. Releasing the low back from the mat. And here, we'll pull the knees into the chest. Hands can go onto the tops of the shins if you'd like to. Tuck the head so the forehead comes up towards the knees here, rounding through the spine. Or just coming into our last posture, which we'll take on both sides, spinal twist, keeping the knees close together here. We'll start to rotate and drop the knees towards either side. I like to start with my left side. Slowly doing so as the arms are wide on the mat, like airplane arms. Keeping both shoulders grounded. If one shoulder starts to peel off of the mat, allow the legs to lift slightly. And at home, if you have any yoga blocks or some pillows or a blanket, you can shove something underneath that low knee to bring the ground a little closer to you, so it doesn't feel like you're holding your knees in the air. A little support can go a long way. Finding the stretch in the outside of that top hip. If this feels okay for you, or feels like you could get a little more out of this, you can extend that top leg out long, the sole of that foot pressing towards that left side. This will increase that stretch on that left side, maybe even grabbing onto that right foot with the left hand. Taking another breath or two here. And on an inhale, start to bring those knees back to center, meaning those knees over the hips. The soles of the feet, I like to keep them pressing away from my body. And on an exhale, start to lower those knees towards the right side. Doing so slowly to experience and to feel each part of each posture. When we take a posture asymmetrically, we're able to really notice what each side of the body is capable of. And we'll notice that all of the hemispheres of our body are not identical, just as all of us are not identical. We all have different needs and different abilities. And that's why we're able to take a posture and to add on to it or to remove different parts of the posture, to make it our own and to make it our practice, not anybody else's practice. Find a gaze here towards the opposite side of the body or up towards the ceiling, whatever works for you. Feeling the stretch on the outside of that left hip for a few more breaths. Again, making it your own by extending your legs if this feels like you could get a little bit more, or you need a little bit more, I should say. Or taking something to place underneath the knees. And on your next inhale, bringing the knees back to center. Exhaling the knees down, The soles of the feet pressing into the mat. As we move into our final resting pose, I invite you to find a posture that works for you, whether that's staying here with the knees bent, the soles of the feet on the mat, or extending the legs out into a traditional corpse pose. Sometimes it's nice as well to get more into the hips, placing the soles of the feet together as the knees fall out to either side into this bound angle. Whatever works for you. And once you're there, just allowing the body and the mind to settle once again. Taking a few of those cleansing breaths, breathing in through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. Allowing the whole entire body to feel completely supported. Enjoying that there's nothing that you need to do right now. There's no expectation, there's no responsibility, there's no right or wrong. Feeling the breath as it enters the body through the nose. Moves through the throat, the chest, the belly, and exits from the belly to the chest, the throat, and the nose. I invite you to just rest here for a few moments. And as you rest here, Jolly and I will share with you one of my favorite poets, and I probably say her name wrong, Dana Falls. But this poem is it's titled Allow. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado. Dam a stream and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild and the weak. Fear and fantasies. Failures and successes. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils your vision with despair, practice becomes simply bearing the truth. In the choice to let go of your known way of being, the whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Allow yourself to just let it go. Whatever that means to you. Embrace the darkness and the light. If you feel like you'd like to move, you can start doing so by wiggling out through the toes. Wiggling out through the fingers. You're rotating the head side to side. Stretching the arms and legs out long like a good morning stretch. And eventually rolling onto one side or the other in a fetal position. Taking a moment here to send yourself a feeling of thanks. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for everything that you are. I am whole. I am complete. I love myself. In order to spread that love into the world, we have to start within ourselves. Let love and peace begin with me. You can meet at a seated position, whatever that looks like for you right now. Bringing the hands to heart center. And we'll take a few more of those cleansing breaths together, connecting with each other through our breath. Inhaling in through the nose, out the mouth, in through the nose, out the mouth. Taking one more full, complete breath. The light within me honors the light within you. The darkness within me honors the darkness within you. For without one, it's difficult to see and appreciate the other. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your time here with me today, and I hope that you have a great day. See you soon.